meeting? If so, does anyone have any comments? Seeing none, can I have a motion to approve? Thank you,
Second.
Eric.
Was that Lance?
Lance.
And who else?
I did. Second.
Okay.
I'll second. Okay. I'd like also have a motion, all correspondence is available at Town Hall for the review by the public. As such, I'd like a motion to dispense with reading of the correspondence.
Motion.
Thank you, Mike. Thank you, Mike. First,
Mr. Chairman, 1 second, please. Donna, we're getting no sound at home on the TV. I don't know, do you want to call over to the studio? Or send him a text? Okay now, it's okay now.
Okay.
Thank you. Sorry for the interruption, Mr. President.
next order of business, a site plan application resolution to memorialize the TKG Pro 1 LLC, 1085 Central Avenue, Block 69, Lot 18.01, also the Starbucks. Has everyone had a chance to review the resolution? If so, any comments or questions? Seeing none, I'd like a motion to approve.
So moved.
Thank you, Jim. Second? Second. Thank you, Lance. Roll call, please.
Mayor Bonaccorso?
Yes.
Mr. Ulrich?
Yes.
Mr. Maniti?
Yes.
Mr. Koch?
Yes.
Mr. Triolo?
Yes.
Mr. Altman?
Yes.
Mr. Jacobson?
Yes.
Mr. Steinberg?
Yes.
Mr. Klee?
Yes.
Memorialized.
Next order of business is application seeking an amendment to make a payment in lieu of affordable housing unit. Counselor?
Good evening, Mr. Chairman and members of the board. Thank you. My name is Donald B. Fraser Jr. I'm a member of the law firm of Parada, Fraser, and Forrester here in Clark. I represent this evening Spring Enterprises LLC, which, excuse me, which is the owner of 60 to 62 Westfield Avenue, Block 106, and lots 3 and 4 in the downtown Village Zone. I'm here tonight in connection with an approval that this board granted back in 2021 for a mixed-use. Am I doing something wrong? I apologize. For a mixed-use project on Westfield Avenue. Simply stated, there is commercial on the first floor, 2 floors of residential, total of 4 apartments. As I assume everybody on the board is well familiar with, there has been a change to the township ordinance that was adopted this past fall with regard to the obligation of a developer to the nature of the developer's contribution to the township's affordable housing obligation. Essentially, prior to that obligation, or excuse me, prior to that ordinance change, a developer was required to put 0.15 or 15% of the units being constructed had to be dedicated as affordable units. In my client's case, we have 4 units. You apply the 0.15 ratio to 4 units, you get 0.6 units. At the time of the hearing in 2021, it was not entirely clear, but it was our understanding that the applicant would be required to construct or dedicate one of the 4 units, 4 residential units, to be an affordable housing unit. It wasn't totally clear to me, but that was the testimony that was put in, and that was what we understood we were required to do under this board's approval. As a result of the ordinance which the township adopted just this past fall, the situation has been clarified. With the new ordinance, as the board is no doubt aware, if you have 6 units, residential units or above, you provide a unit or units. If you have 4 units, 5 units or less, you can make a payment to the township affordable housing fund in lieu of the production of a unit or a dedication of the unit. So the nature of our application is we would like the board to amend the prior approval for this project so that my client can make the Affordable Housing Fund contribution, which would be $19,000 and some odd dollars. The applicant would contribute to that fund consistent with the present ordinance scheme of the township rather than the one unit that had been contemplated at the time of the approval. I'm happy to answer any questions, but that's the application in a nutshell.
Just to clarify, this is also known as the old CVS site?
CVS? Yes, I thought the answer was yes, but I didn't want to say yes and be wrong.
Just want the other board members to know its location.
I appreciate that, Mr. Koch. Given that my business is in town, I probably should just know that off the top of my head.
That building is up already, and is it close to, ready for occupancy, or?
I believe that COs have been issued, but that none of the spaces have yet been actually rented to tenants. My client is actively seeking that now.
I think this is a reasonable request. Does anyone on the board have any discussions?
Mr. Chair, I just have two comments. The affordable housing development fee has been calculated, or the payment in lieu of an affordable housing unit has been calculated at $19,229.61. However, I would suggest that any approval be subject to verification of that amount by the tax assessor and the affordable housing administrative agent. Additionally, as was pointed out, this is a mixed-use development with the commercial on the first floor, residential above it. Because it's a mixed use, there would also be a development fee applicable to the commercial component of it by state law. So the payment of the, in lieu of payment of a unit does not absolve the applicant of having to pay the affordable housing development fee for the commercial portion of the property. I see Mr. Frazier shaking his head, but if he would...
Interested in confirm on the record, Mr. Cruz. First of all, with regard to that $19,000 and some odd dollar number that you just read into the record, certainly that is subject to confirmation from the tax assessor and the planner, but I will note for the record that I didn't come up with that number, they did. I got it from them, and I independently came to it when I did the math within a couple of dollars of what they said, and I went with their number. So we're certainly good with letting that be subject to confirmation, but we didn't make that number up. Secondly, with regard to the fee that would relate to the commercial unit, yes, we understand that's not included within the $19,000. I'm not able myself to come up to a good guesstimate of that calculation. I know it's 2.5%, but somebody at the tax assessor's office is going to have to say, well, how much of the tax assessment here relates to the residential portion and how much relates to the commercial portion? And when we know that answer, we can calculate that. But yes, Mr. Cruz, we know that's not included in the $19,000 and change, and there will be another fee.
Thank you.
Is there any other discussion? I'd like to make a motion to approve this application with the conditions set by our council.
I'll second it. Me.
I'll motion it.
Oh, you motioned it?
Yeah, why not?
Mike motioned it, Jim seconded it.
Okay.
Roll call.
Mayor Bonaccorso?
Yes.
Mr. Ulrich?
Yes.
Mr. Menini?
Yes.
Mr. Koch?
Yes.
Mr. Triola?
Yes.
Mr. Altman?
Yes.
Mr. Jacobson?
Yes.
Mr. Steinberg?
Yes.
Mr. Klee?
Yes.
Approved.
Mr. Chair, I'll prepare a resolution for the March meeting.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the board, council. I can just say I wish my meetings in Garwood went this smoothly on that side. Thank you very much.
At this point, we are opening the meeting to the public. Anyone wishing to come forward May do so to discuss any matter. May I have a motion to open the meeting to the public?
Motion.
Thank you, Mike.
Second.
Thank you, Mike.
That's you, come on.
Please state your name and address.
Nancy Twaskis, 43 Colonial Drive. I know the train has already left the station on this, but I've given it a lot of thought since the last meeting and just want to give an opinion for the next time the town has an issue that came up with the Starbucks development, in particular the traffic. And I'm focused more on the traffic driving into, not so much the pedestrian traffic. I mean, the company is a very large company, Starbucks. It's like an elephant. They're the elephant and we're the ant. And I really didn't feel like the traffic analysis was appropriately done by somebody with a clipboard and a stopwatch. That was about it. For what I learned that day is the most heavily trafficked intersection in the county. Now, Mr. Traiola had a very good idea and asked the question, did they simulate 20 cars, 30 cars, 40 cars going in between 8 o'clock and 9 o'clock in the morning? No, I didn't think of doing that. There's plenty of software out there, I'm sure, that parameters could have been put in to simulate that intersection. I didn't hear that discussed either. So I'm just asking the board, maybe that'll be the last time we ever have a developer that's going to take up space in such a heavily trafficked area. But if we do have that situation in the future, require the business to do a little bit more than come with a clipboard and a stopwatch. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else wishing to come forward? Seeing nobody, I'd like a motion to close the meeting to the public.
Motion.
Thanks, Mike.
Second.
Thanks, Nat. Nate. Do we have any new business? Oh. All right, do we have any new business? Actually, I do. I noticed the CubeSmart, while the building is attractive, there's a pole right in the sidewalk. Do we know if there's plans to relocate that? It's, as it is, the building is close to the street. I know it's outside the jurisdiction of our group now.
Utility pole, Kevin?
Yeah, the utility pole smack, and they poured the concrete around it. And it looks like you now either can tuck yourself close to the street, about 18 inches of sidewalk, or 18 inches on the other side.
Check into it. I didn't even notice it myself, and I drive by it every day.
But
then again, as a safe and courteous driver, I keep my eyes on the road.
well, after I pick up my pizza, suppose,
I'm teasing you. We'll check into it for sure.
I get at that light and I'm looking around and like, whoa. All right, any other new business? Do we have any old business? Okay, our next meeting is March 7th, April 4th, or meetings March 7th, April 4th, May 2nd. I have a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Motion.
Mike Triola. Who seconded it? Sal? Thank you. Meeting is closed.